Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varisthaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Yathagnir-dahika shaktihi Ramakrishne stita hiya sarva-vidya swarupam tam Sharadam pranamamyaham. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Namaste to you all. After a month almost, we are meeting again. We will just look into what we have discussed in the last class. Just a recapitulation. Just to continue the thought flow. In the last class we saw how the ancient ones strengthened their noble qualities, and they saw that ignoble do not enter their system by holding on to the spiritual principles. The owing to spiritual principles which they owned, which they kept in their heart, because we are accustomed with the external world. Our awareness is always filled with the external world, and where external awareness, Bahir Prajna, is very strong. Antar Prajna won't be there. In those days, the Bahir Prajna was limited to the nature. Now everything is artificial, and we see everything is distracting. There it is not. Everything is making us concentrate. So everything is reminding of divine, as if go to the early days of human existence, the ancient times. So that they saw, and spiritual living is the highest reach of the and perspective of the social and individual life. And where culture and civilization, they start walking together. We saw the culture and civilization entirely different. Culture is what gives us happiness, freedom and all that. Civilization, how I am going to utilize the nature's forces and live. This we saw in the last class being exemplified in the life of the ancient people. Then social welfare and interaction with the people were built on the spiritual basis, though through words and all it is not expressed. It is something like seeing divine in each other, seeing something beyond the normal human existence. So this is how they, and Arnold Toynbee we saw telling in the last class itself, we discussed a lot about it. Seeking God itself is a social act. Seeking God itself is a social act. Just silently sit and call on God and serve the people, seeing God in Him, everything you have been achieving calmly. In this context, we saw spirituality stands beyond the ethical and moral standards, far above, and it is spirituality is unlimited, boundless, dimensionless, which manifests at the gross human level of our living as religion. Spirituality and divinity is where all differences dissolve, including the faiths and religions dissolve, where all paths to God culminate. That is the spirituality, that is the divinity. Then we came to the next topic, the moral and ethical. What is moral and ethical? Though the terms are usually interchanged and used, moral and ethical, they have specific meaning to convey. That we saw in the last class, the thoughts, feeling and actions that affects oneself is moral, that affects others is ethical. If I touch fire, it burns. Don't touch fire is moral. If you use a harsh word for someone, he gets hurt. So others are getting hurt. Don't do that. Is ethical. So these two in detail we went through, and the codes of conduct in the working place and all that refer to the ethical system, and the rules and regulations required or imposed by the scriptures and our own experiences in the world, how the suffering is coming to me. This is moral. How should I live or how should I be is moral. How should I behave is ethical. Moral tends to relate to codified principles, instructions and advices with respect to our own character. What is my character? How is my deeds and actions? And is from the origin, it has originated from the mores of Latin word. Then we come to the ethical. Ethical implies a set of values with philosophical basis and practical use with respect to behavior, etiquette, and actions that affect others. Exclusively it affects others, and is originated from the Greek word ethos. This also we saw in the last class. Experience and wisdom built up the moral value. My own experience, I move about in the world, I act, I get myself hurt with my own actions. So through the experiences and the wisdom grows and it builds up the moral values. Situations, placement in the society, family, interaction with other people, dealings with other people, all this form the moral, ethical codes. We build up the moral and ethical codes on this basis. So, moral is subjective, ethical is objective. It is concerned with me, moral. It is concerned with the others, objective. And the nature, prakriti, with respect to life, is standing on two important principles: self-preservation and preservation of species. The self-preservation, a part becomes moral needs, that I should not be hurt, I should be evolving. The other thing is the second principle, the preservation of species with gregarious tendency of living together in group. This makes the ethical come into the picture. So this is what we see in this is the whole essence of what we studied in the last class. Now we will go to the today's subject. That is, we will continue with the same ideas in a little deeper sense. We are products of nature, and nature has designed life in such a way that it is able to comfortably live, perceive, perceptions are there, grasping is there, analysis is there, all this is there with respect to all lives, whether it is an animal or insect or this, including humans. But in human, it has kept a special characteristic, which is unique, matchless life system she has created with respect to human, which we call human, by placing intellect, which can achieve any goal. Intellect, we have an intellect which can achieve any goal. It can transcend the nature and go into the eternal life, or it can create so many things, bind itself or do anything, whether it is academical or this or that, wars, anything we can achieve our goal. So this intellect has been given by nature for us. Every human passes through many innumerable experiences. Now look at our own life. From our childhood, we have been continuously experiencing, we are passing through various experiences in our journey of life. Till now, how many experiences we have passed through. And this knowledge, collective knowledge that we have got, is converted, the experience themselves convert the total fund of knowledge into wisdom. The most important part is my knowledge must become wisdom. If knowledge stands as knowledge, I may misuse it any time or may not use it. When it becomes wisdom, it helps my evolution. Otherwise, I gained some experience, it went away with the person. All the memories fail at the time of death. Though the tendencies continue, this will go away. From wisdom shoots forth three important things. One is moral perfection, one is ethical perfection, and self-development. Moral, ethical, and self-development. These are products of wisdom. How should I be? How should I live in this world and be one with all? And how I should develop myself. These three are the products of wisdom. Apart from these acquired wisdom, there is natural tendency. Moral urge is there. See, the 9 urges, I often tell, physical urge, biological urge, the social urge, then moral urge is there. Moral urge, then creative urge, then the aesthetic urge, intellectual urge, and spiritual urge, emotional urge. These are the 9 urges from within. It is coming as if nature has placed it in us. To be good is, even in the ancient time or any time you see, to do good is there in everyone. It is covered by his other things like desires, ambitions, self-protection. So many factors govern, not expressing that goodness which is within him. So in ancient times, we see them, these factors were the basis of their evolution. These 3 important factors, self-development, moral and ethical basis. These were their basis of evolution. How the evolution procedures, they evolved to the highest reach of the realization of God. Look at our own sages. So in our life growth, we are growing in knowledge, growing in our bodily existence. From childhood, from the womb, we are growing. Growing is nature's design. Nature has designed the growth, how to grow. And each is nature has embedded it in us. It is embedded in us. The process. Look at a seed. How to grow, how to take the food, everything is put inside the seed already as a program. It unfolds. So this we see is a natural design. Nature has designed that way, the growth. When we say growth, it is nature's part. When we say development, it's product of our human wisdom. Human knowledge and wisdom, it is how I develop myself, develop things, develop others. So through moral and ethical and all this, I develop myself. Important things in this is human wisdom and human excellence. These two participate in the evolutionary process. When we say experiences bring wisdom, we must know the experiences contain both suffering and joy. When we say just the experiences, we don't mean. But when we search the experience, open and see, so much of pain I have passed through. So much of insult, losses, this, that. Suffering was there, bodily suffering, everything was there, suffering. And also, there was moments of joy, enjoyments, peace, everything was there. But the important part is the suffering. The suffering is necessary precondition of evolution. When suffering comes, man struggles to go beyond the suffering. The experience of suffering and joy ultimately take us back to the source. The basis of any type of evolution is always dependent on the suffering. Now the evolution is based on suffering and bondage, suffering and bondage. We are in suffering and bondage versus what are going to be happiness and freedom. Opposite is suffering is happiness. Then bondage, freedom. So suffering and bondage, happiness and freedom. So these two are the, how I shift from this to this is evolution. Evolution is from this state of bondage and suffering to the state of my ever freedom, eternal freedom and everlasting bliss. What brings suffering and bondage is to be avoided, and what brings happiness and freedom is to be cultivated and sought for. So this is we are dealing with the moral and ethical codes. So here this is the basis of moral and ethical codes, that is evolution. In evolution, we move from the suffering and bondage to the freedom and happiness. So for this sake, the whole spiritual life and spiritual existence, spiritual attainments, everything is based on the moral and ethical principles. This is the basis. And for this basis, spirituality is the basis of moral and ethical, and ethical and moral is what is going to lead us to the spiritual attainments. So spiritual, that is moral and ethical consciousness, I develop a consciousness, I should not do this, I should not do this. He is doing wrong. All this is inner sense. I am able to sense the rightness. Somebody is doing something, is it right or not? I am doing something, is it right or not? This rightness regarding oneself and others become and it's a behavioral pattern, in fact, how I am going to behave. So the behavioral pattern I am experiencing. In this, the sense of rightness is the thing that makes me, it is natural sense, and it is basis. It is emerging in us from the moral and ethical consciousness. I am conscious of it. Every moment, once we are growing up, the moment we do something wrong, guilt forms in us. Immediately. Small mistakes also. Guilt forms. We cover or we may drop it off, but it forms. So this is spiritual consciousness. And spiritual consciousness, inner sense of rightness in oneself and in others, of course. So only intention, why should we have all this? The only intention is peaceful living, moral and ethical. We must be peaceful living, is living a sacred life of purity, honesty, mutual cooperation, and to live in love-bound, joyful, smooth-going social condition. Ethical and moral both are concerned, you see. I should not harm others and I should not get harmed also. There must be peace in this society where I am living in a community or society. And there must be mutual love, mutual cooperation, smooth running of the society. All are in their own boundaries. All are joyfully helping each other and living a beautiful life. This is the only intention with which these moral and ethical codes are brought, apart from our spiritual evolution. This is at the gross physical level, and the other is at the individual spiritual developments. So on the other side, this is one part of our development. On the other side, we see same wisdom, from the same wisdom, a distinctive intellectual faculty awakens. I have got wisdom. My own experiences have converted my knowledge into wisdom. When does it convert into wisdom is when I finished my play in the world. I have seen everything what I went to catch as giving happiness and comfort has given me pain only. Whatever I caught in this world as a source of enjoyment has put me into bondage that I am not able to come out. This experience itself converted into wisdom. From wisdom, another intellectual faculty, and the discrimination, viveka comes. One is moral and ethical codes. From the other side, there is discriminative faculty, the power of discrimination. This power of discrimination, what we call viveka, is it is akin almost to this one, but it has a specific purpose in our life with respect to it differentiates between right and wrong, virtue and vices, good and bad, just and unjust, which are rather behavioral pattern with respect to ethics and moral. But with respect to discrimination drives us towards real and unreal, eternal and ephemeral. These are the main changes that we pass through. That is, moral is, we distinguish between moral and ethical, keeps on pointing towards the right and wrong, virtue and vice, good and bad, just and unjust. But discrimination, real and unreal, it is existential part, real and unreal, eternal and temporal. So this differentiation is what we see in the discrimination that leads us to the eternal existence. This is the one gives to spiritual. This is, of course, this is ethical and moral are basis, but viveka is what takes us, detaches us from the bonds. And see, I have to go somewhere. I have to release myself. A boat is tied. The anchor is put below. The anchor is put. I cannot move. I may be having even a powerful engine, but it will not work. I have to release my boat from all bonds. I have to release myself to move forward. Now, to what does relieve me from all bonds of the world, small things? See, when I say release of bonds, I don't mean that giving up something. We will be in the family, we will be with all duties and responsibilities, everything goes on smoothly. But we see there is something more. That is, living uninvolved, unentangled, I move about, doing all with great love and sacrifice we do. But this Viveka releases us from attachments and grip. I am not able to leave that is not there. I live but not bound. It is detached attachment like. With that we grow. So by bringing ethical, moral and self-development in one's own life and by adopting the discriminative power, the ancient people reached the transcendental realm, the beyond the creation, transcendental realm, and got direct experience of the transcendental realm and one's own inner, the two things, one's own spiritual basis. One's own spiritual basis and basis of the universe, spiritual basis of the universe, spiritual basis of my own existence. These two the ancient people got by adopting Viveka and then by bringing ethical, moral and development in their life. This as a development, moral and ethical and Viveka to release me, and they simply easily they move towards they entered the transcendental realm, and they knew there is a transcendental means beyond my bodily existence and all my existence is my transcendental. Transcending the universe, I go to the base of the universe. Transcending my existence, I go to the base of my existence. That is spiritual basis. My one's own spiritual basis and spiritual basis of this universe that they reached. And this is an important part of their attainments. Religion is a product of these two, human spiritual basis and spiritual basis of the universe. The universal spiritual basis is God, my individual basis is Jivatman and Paramatman. When you know this, religion emerges out. Oh, one must be dependent on God, one must be ever tuned with God. One who has reached that immediately tell, nothing will happen to you, you will easily enter into the eternal life of everlasting peace and bliss. What should you do? Be in tune with God and be in tune with nature. In being in tune with nature, and dependent. Be dependent on God. Our strength, energy, our understanding, everything is very little. It cannot make us transcend, go beyond the nature. It's insufficient. For everything I have to depend. How I cultivate that dependence is on small things. I have to go somewhere, pray, take the help of God for everything. Even to go to bathroom and take bath. You must pray and I am going for bath. Without you I won't be able to do. In small things when we start depending on God for everything, I am capable. But one day I will become incapable. Then I will know whose strength I was using. It was God's strength. It is taken away. One day it will go away. By the time it was given, all strength, intellect, everything was given to transcend this nature and go beyond. Before it is taken away, you have to reach that safe state for which it was given. A vehicle is given for you to travel somewhere, to go beyond certain region, and if you don't use it, you will be there, the vehicle will be taken away. So like that, body will be taken away before the falls, everything you have to achieve that. This is the thing that our ancient people, they knowing the individual and the cosmic base, spiritual basis, religion emerged out to be in tune with divine. For the others who have not attained, to be in tune with the divine and always be dependent on the divine, the Jivatman and Paramatman. So, I think it is almost time now, and we can go ahead with the same topic in the next class. So here we will stop.
Thank you, Maharaj. Now we would start question and answer. Kindly post your questions in the Zoom chat and kindly keep your questions related to the topic. So one question came, Maharaj.
Yes.
Identifying right or wrong in others can make us look down on others. This will increase our ego. How to avoid this?
No, because the innermost content of a man or any person is divine. He is unaware of it. When we start seeing, we will not interfere in it, usually, unless we have a duty. Duty will never become a karma. Suppose I see defects in my children, defects in my family for whom I am responsible, it will not hurt. It will be, it is like, exactly it will be like a doctor seeing the defects of a patient. He is seeing the defects, but he doesn't consider it as a defect. It's something that has entered into a person, which is, it is a foreign element. It has to be removed. Doctor says. And when we are not concerned with that person, are not responsible with the person, but we are interacting with each other now and then. If we are not interacting, we can drop off. We have to interact, like office people, comrades, this, that, and all. We often see the defects. How to don't link the base to the quality. Now, water, you see, water is hot, sometimes water is cold. Water is water, independent of heat and cold. This defects or anything, right or wrong, is something which is superimposed on that person. Each time what we do is, we combine the quality and person and start blaming the person or praising the person. He's a good boy, he's a bad boy. Now, boy and goodness and badness are different. We don't mix up. The wise people, because we are in the path of evolution, we are seeking something higher. So we don't combine the quality and the person, we differentiate whenever see. A good man can become bad overnight. A bad man can become good overnight. So always see that you don't mix up a personality or a person with his qualities. Then you are totally safe. And in seeing of your people whom you are responsible for, it will not harm. Nature and God will always help because it is your duty and it will never become karma. If you beat a child for chastening him, it will not become a karma. If you don't, it will become a karma. If you don't do your duties, it will become a karma. So this regarding your own people for whom you are responsible, including a servant maybe, you see that you do it as an offering to the divine and always be in contact with it. I am going to tell my child this one. Make him accept. Prepare him for my telling. So you may have to wait some time, but you are trying like a doctor always, not as a criticizer or a onward looking person. No, as a. So, and each time in that process of seeing defects, See the inside something good and virtuous. When you see something good and virtuous in a person, offer it to the divine. Thank the God for having given him that such a thing, and may I to get that virtue and things. That kind of attitude. Wherever you see good, immediately absorb it. Wherever you see the bad, check your heart. Is it correct that I have seen the wrong thing there, or is it a wrong understanding of mine? Even then, you see that it's a mere superimposition. It's like a cloth getting dirty. But the sense of rightness and wrongness as moral and ethical, this one will remain as the consciousness, a moral consciousness. It will remain, and it has to be used everywhere for the welfare of others and your own welfare. If you have properly used this sense of moral consciousness anywhere, including friends and public also, it must help the evolution of all. This is the principle we use. Then anything else?
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. The next question is, how should we develop Viveka?
Each time anything happens, see the cause always. What caused this? When we were small children, my father used to explain small things to us. We used to wonder. A child is weeping. He will point out to that child, look there, that boy is weeping. Why is he weeping? What makes him weep? How desires are persisting? He wants something. He has not fallen. He has not been beaten. He is simply weeping. What for? What is behind what is there? And then what is its effect? Parinama, cause and the parinama, consequences. Parinama, what will be its effect on the parents? What is its effect on his own personality? What is its influence on the others around, on the society, on humanity? All this he will explain. The cause and effect. Each time we will try to analyze, our mind becomes such a sharp thing. It has all the capacity. It is not being used because it has split and it is running after many things. When we give up the interaction, unwanted interaction with the society and other things, because we are so much interested in the unwanted things of the social conditions, what the news project forth, that media movements and the friend circle constantly pushing in some messages, keep away from these things. Then a lot of time and peace you will have to awaken. It automatically awakens the Viveka. Try to see why that person is doing. Why am I doing? Why anything I do? Why did I do this? Somebody uttered a harsh word, immediately check. I immediately get angry, or within I get hurt if I don't express the anger also. What made me to feel hurt? Why should I get hurt? Somebody is telling something that no, whole world doesn't know about it. I am the person who is concerned about their words, and I am giving value to that person's words and suffering. So what is making me, independent of his talks, my ego is hurt. Oh, I have duty to perform. I have to show my angry eyes to him. Don't do again. You see the consequences, this, that, and shout at him. But with a calm mind within, wishing all the best for him, praying for him, offering the incident at the feet of God. You have given this experience. You are teaching something to me. Utilize everything that comes in your life. You see, the moment you start utilizing everything that, be it sukha or dukkha, amana, apamana, whatever comes in your life, utilize it to go towards God. When suffering and insults and all come, oh, this is the world. I should not run behind this world. Similarly, when happiness comes, run to God again, thanking Him for what He has given. So, utilize whether sukha, dukkha, or whatever happens, rush towards the God. We have to evolve. The purpose of human existence, we have to finish within no time. Death is going to come, and there ends everything. All this story, not even a little, just like you enter into deep sleep, no thought of this world or your bodily existence or relatives or friends or property, nothing remains the moment you sleep. Temporary is sleep, permanent separation from bodily existence is death. Do you think all these things are going to be there with you or anything? Everything will be ending there, including all the memories of this world, except whatever spiritual practices you have done. Only spiritual practices and spiritual awareness, spiritual other tendencies will remain. Fighting tendency, learning music tendency, but all the experiences and the things we have passed through knowledge, they are all knowledge of the world except spiritual knowledge will be erased, deleted. So this is how we see everything with a different eye to acquire that viveka. First thing is that we will not associate the person with that, and why is he doing? What is its consequences? Why I do the consequences? I am going to get angry. What is its consequences? So here the viveka comes. Oh, I have to get rid of ego. God is showing me, oh, there is anger in you. And till the anger is removed, it goes on coming again. Situations go on coming. And when it ends. So this is how the viveka awakens by itself. And spend some time in prayer. Give me viveka vairagya, detachment from the world or dispassion towards the world, vairagya and viveka. May I be able to do all the duties of my life without attachments and without expecting anything from anywhere. What all I need, I get from God. May you help me to get this viveka, vairagya and prema, love. These two you have to constantly pray for. All right?
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, we have two more questions. Do you like to take it?
Yes.
Maharaj, next question is how to distinguish when to practice titiksha versus when to protest.
Again?
How to distinguish between when to practice titiksha versus when to protest.
Going to practice. When to practice. When to practice titiksha and when to protest. Oh, see, the sahana shakti, the power of tolerance. Another thing we need is power of patience. Anything we do, we must be patient for the result. Patience must be there in a sadhaka and tremendous tolerance. Nothing must be able to shake. But we will never protest, but we will make inform the mistake of a person if it is needed. Protest is different. Protest is a dislike, like I am revolting to a situation, but God is managing the whole world. Universe is managed by the Mother Nature. So there we will take all care to see that whatever comes in my life, how to utilize. When we are free from ego, protest will not harm. I don't have ego, but Thakur used to say, what a kind of man you are. Chi, will people will speak like this, he will scold once. He is protesting. But with folded hands that person sits and 2 steps he goes closer to God, Thakur, and says, bless me, I may not be able to do that again. So, because when Thakur is telling or revolting, there is no ego. Without ego, if I protest, it will change the person. With ego, if I protest, he will revolt again. The principle is hatred cannot be got rid of by hatred. But love can, we can get rid of hatred through love. So this is an important principle of and Satyameva Jayate from ancient times. Love conquers hatred and always the truth will triumph. These 2 are the eternal principles that Hindu has adopted, clinging and holding on to with trust. So protest is against these principles. Protest term we don't use. We use another term for that, is to make him know his mistake and try to correct. Before that, we approach always divine. I'm going to tell a word to him. I'm losing all my patience and tolerance. I have to tell him. But before telling him, because I am limited, what a saint would do in the same situation is the right thing. If Thakur was there, Mother was there, how they would have reacted to that? We will leave Swamiji. So, we don't know. We cannot predict how Swamiji would have worked. He would have smashed the person. But Thakur and his mother, all saints, how they would have reacted to that situation. Tolerance and protest comes when a thing is happening against my will or against the principles or against the welfare of others. Then it is, we are either have to, now see, to change a person is not in our hand, because behind that person, huge past is working, is balance sheet of the whole past. It is pushing forward. We can't change, we cannot change anything in this world, but we can bring the divine, invoke the divine power, be in tune with nature, wish them all good, and then what you have to tell calmly without getting affected. But calmness must go with strictness, not sternness, firmness. Firm. You must be firm and clear. In words, you must be very clear. There won't be an opportunity for, when these things are observed, there won't be a force, there won't be revolt from that person. He may, because of the prestige matter, he may shout again and go away, but he reflects, it transforms the person. It takes time, lot of time it takes. But you must have that much of patience to wait for the transformation. If it is a casual meeting, it's all right, let it go away. But daily interacting people, you must be very careful. Don't develop enmity by increasing or increase the enmity. Calm down everything. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We are the people who represent God at all times. So awaken the inner divinity and keep the lamp burning within. And if you are in tune with nature and God, it will intuit you what to do and what not to do from within. We are losing this intuitive power to decide what to do and what not to do by not being in tune with the divine and not being in tune with this is what we read today, to be in tune with the divine. That was the ancient people, how they lived, being in tune with nature and with the same way, on the same steps we have to go. All right?
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, the last question is,
Yes.
something inside tells a person what is wrong and what is right behavior. Is that our inner divinity or Chaitanya?
Not clear. I'm
Yes,
not
Maharaj.
getting.
Something inside tells a person what is wrong and what is right behavior.
Yes.
Is that our inner divinity or Chaitanya?
No. Chaitanya is enlightening all things. From bodily existence, the moment you wake up, the Chaitanya consciousness, individual consciousness, touches the cause or the subtle, the cause, all are, if you are in deep sleep, all are sleeping, mind, senses, everything is sleeping. When the Chaitanya touches, everything is activated. It will become Chaitanya, body becomes Chaitanya, mind becomes Chaitanya. It immediately starts acting as immediate. They are Chaitanya themselves. Like a magnet needle, iron needle, it's not magnet. Touching the magnet, immediately it becomes magnet. And it can lift another nail. And that can lift another nail. It is being, magnetism is conveyed from one to the other which is touching it. Like that, everything becomes Chaitanya. This here, a intellectual faculty, is an intellectual faculty. Discriminative power and these things are, it's a special faculty which awakens in man. This is, actually it is not even Sakshi. It is, we saw in the diagram, external bodily existence, pranic existence, mental existence, intellectual existence, then prajna kshetra, inner awareness, then this inner heart and all come. It is in the intellectual, this one, intellectual realm, but a special thing. It is something like Viveka. Viveka is, Vairagya is another aspect of, intellect is guiding the life. Intellect guides the life. Mind doesn't guide. Mind is always under the sway of vasanas. Even good vasanas, I am not speaking of bad vasanas, good vasanas also catch hold of the mind and make you do good. But Viveka, Jnana and all, these come as a part of the intellect which do not belong. Chaitanya is silent witness, which is pervading and making all this act freely without interfering into anything. Chaitanya doesn't participate in anything, but makes others just like sunrise. The moment sun rises, all people start working. They are able to see the world in the sunlight and start working. Sun is not responsible. In the absence of sun, they don't work. In the presence of sun, they all work. That doesn't affect the sun at all. Nor sun is shining because all have to work. No. Sun is shining in its own right and its own independence. But the all others start working in its. It is not bound by anything. The karma also doesn't affect the person may do forgery, or another person may do love someone and serve someone. It doesn't affect sunlight or sun. Like the Atman is always nirlipta, but it gives an opportunity for her to be and to act. All right.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you everyone for this wonderful and uplifting satsang. Our next satsang would be continued on the same topic and would be held in a month. We would communicate the exact date in WhatsApp group. Pranam Maharaj, if you kindly conclude this session.
I will try to send the typed out matter, what I have spoken. I have to again rewrite and get it done. In a day or two, I will try to. I am extremely busy day and night. And on 3rd January, Holy Mother's birthday, there will be 2 sannyasas. 2 women are coming from, one from Kashi and one from Narmada, to take sannyasa. 3 brahmacharis are taking white clothes. 2 brahmacharinis, one more brahmacharini has come yesterday. The 2 brahmacharinis are taking white clothes on those. I am taking classes for them. We have to do all the preparations, this, that, and all. In between the 1st January, Kalpataru day is there. On the eve, we make a barge and Ganga Aarti will be there. And because I was absent here for last 4 months, people in queue are coming, keeping me busy all the time. Many days I don't take my bath. I gulp some food and run away. Come here to meet them. So day and nights are going very fast, and nights alone is the time when I can write something and do all these my personal works. So 2:30, 1:30, 3:30 I get up and finish before the daybreak. Then comes all these things. All right, thank you all. Om Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhritavigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamedhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha.